It's all about humanity. About humanity. It's all about humanity. About humanity. It's all about humanity. It's all about humanity. About humanity. It's all about humanity. About humanity. It's all about humanity.
Hello, model citizens. Welcome to Humanity Junction. Tonight on Trains and Tech, a little bit of a smorgasbord. Is that a word? Of topics tonight. I got a couple things to show off, a couple of things about travel plans, a couple things coming up this week. Lots of things happening, I guess, kind of. Quick story, I was setting up for the show. I set up a while ago, and then I set up about an hour and a half early, because if something goes wrong, it gives me time to fix it. But my microphone that I wear is on a battery, so I don't turn it on generally until the 10-minute mark. So tonight, I start the stream. I'm checking the stream on YouTube to make sure it's playing okay. And all of a sudden, I'm like, wait a second, where's my microphone? And I realized I hadn't turned my microphone on. So I scrambled a little bit, got the microphone going. But I'm at that point, I need a checklist, right? I mean, there's just kind of no way around it. If I'm going to remember what I'm going to do, I just need to get a checklist. So real quick on the travel, one note about it is that next week's live stream, next week's Wednesday night Trains and Tech live stream is going to be canceled. I am actually traveling out to do railroad related things. The first stop is going to be a visit to the Twin Cities to visit some of the characters that we all know and love from the Crossing Gate podcast. I will be with them on Wednesday night. So officially, the live stream is canceled, but depending on the hijinks, maybe I'll do an impromptu something, but don't count on it. Just for now, just assume next week everything is canceled. After I visit the Twin Cities, though, I'm heading over to the incredible town of La Crosse, Wisconsin. I don't know, is anybody here from La Crosse? I'm going to something called River Rail. I don't know which layouts I'm going to be attending yet. I haven't received the list, but I am essentially going out for an op session to La Crosse, Wisconsin. I mean, who knew? Who knew? It would be like saying I'm going to go to Sebastian, Florida and operate on 2 amazing layouts over the July 4th weekend, right? Like, I mean, there's just some things that come out of your mouth that just don't make a lot of sense. But yeah, if you go to this riverrail.org, you can take a look, and when I come back from the trip, we can look at some photos and some stuff as to what happened and what went on. But I've really been enjoying these ops weekends. So when the opportunity came up for me to travel out to River Rail, I jumped at the opportunity, and it's close to the Twin Cities, so I'm able to scoot over. I'm basically coming a day early. So Wednesday the 19th, I'm going to be in the Twin Cities, and then Thursday there's like a pre-ops op session, and then there's some pretty cool stuff. Yeah, Cameron, speaking about one of those layouts down in Florida, I think you're correct. There was a recent podcast called Around the Layout where this person was interviewed, and I do think that one of the important things that came out of that conversation was that he was going to be removing the closets to put a peninsula in, because being his train room, he doesn't need the closets. I'm going to go see this for myself, and I'll probably provide my opinion as well, and we'll see how that goes. You know, it's always good to encourage model railroaders to build more and build more and build some more. Dave Hammer says, I've heard of this River Rail, and a few guys I know from the Chicago area will be up there as well for the ops weekend. Yep. Oh, Ed says, bring a sledgehammer. I don't know. I have to fly down to Florida. I don't know how well bringing a sledgehammer on an airplane is going to work out for me, but I will, you know, I'll provide my opinions. But yeah, so this River Rail trip is actually why I didn't attend the meet and greet. I needed to, you know, between family and, you know, other obligations and money and whatnot, you know. Oh boy, see, oh, I think this was an offer. So for anybody that wants to see John and I demo a closet, tune in on July 5th and 6th, and maybe we'll do a pop-up live stream with a sledgehammer, because, you know. Yeah, Paul, I have this thing, though. I hate checking bags. If I don't have to check a bag when I fly, I don't check a bag when I fly. So that's ultimately my goal. Yeah. So this nap time thing, I think it's gonna. I mentioned nap time. Derail Daryl was talking in the Wednesday night hangout group that's right before this stream. Derail Daryl was saying that he's, you know, in a little bit of a slump. I feel like I'm in a little bit of a slump as well. I've actually scheduled an op session for Friday, this coming up Friday. So I'm doing an op session here on Friday, then I'm going to an op session on Wednesday. But if you kind of look at the room, there's just like stuff everywhere. And I've been like there's stuff all over the layout. I haven't actually, I did finish this. This is, I did end up, I was waiting for this end piece here. I was waiting for one of these tie plates to fix this. I did get that in. I did glue the bumpers in. So I think this is kind of painted and ready to go, but I still, like, the track just goes off to nowhere, and I still need to connect it into the layout. It's good because the op session is going to force me to do some things around the layout. For one, clean up, if nothing else. Andy says he has to be at a local op session on Friday. He expects it to be clean and clear. Good luck with that, Andy. I think I know where you're going. And if I had to place bets, I would say the chances of it being spick and span, just make sure you have your tetanus shot. That's all I gotta say. But yeah, I mean, I took a nap tonight before this show. If you guys haven't noticed it, I do actually have a poll going. Wow, it actually evened up. For a while, it was, would you rather take a nap or watch a live stream? And for a while, it was, the nap was winning hands down. Now it's a little more even, 55-45. But while you're giving the video a thumbs up, also consider answering the poll, and we'll go from there. Saturday, there is a boat ride, too. Where's the boat ride? Am I? Yeah, that boat ride. Are we still doing that? I got confused because Andy posted a message about going to Governor's Island on the 26th, which is a Tuesday. I thought we were going to Governor's Island on the 14th, but I'm a little confused as to what's really going on, so... Dennis says, I've been doing the same thing. I'm going to force my daughter and her boyfriend to operate when they visit, so maybe this weekend. You know, sometimes a good op session is how you get inspired to push the layout forward, and I definitely need a little bit of a push as well. Zaruda Eastern says, hello, I'm new to the channel and I've subscribed. Thank you so much. I saw you saying hello to people earlier while we were joining. John says he's hustling for the visit. John, your room, the level of immaculateness, is that a word? The level of neatness of your room far exceeds where my space is at currently, so I wouldn't be too worried about that. Well, so I don't have a lot planned for tonight because everything is total chaos, but luckily, because of my little problem, I do have a couple little items to share, and I thought these were kind of interesting little items that I got. I think I paid less than $10. There's a lot of this stuff on eBay that you can find at various places, but this I got just because I thought there were some interesting items in it. So, for example, let's see, in 1954, the Railway Laborers Political League in Washington, D.C., if you were a railway employee, you could have gotten this. Now, I'm trying to see, too. I don't know what railroad this was from, if it was from a specific railroad or just a general railroad. But if I want to make a political league contribution, I wonder what would happen. It says $1. I wonder what would happen if I mailed this in today. If I sent this to 1015 Vine Street in Cincinnati 2, Ohio. I don't know why it says Cincinnati 2, Ohio. I wonder if they'd receive it. But yeah, so this is a neat little, one of the neat little items that I got. Can anyone say hi? Can anyone say hi to Heath's new sub? A bunch of people have said hello. A bunch of people have. Yeah, Andy, I am trying. That's pretty much what I've been doing, is just sticking things like behind and like under things, and like I'm trying not to do that anymore, because that is primarily what I've been doing. In addition to these, though, what I think some of these things I'm finding, I'm very amused by them. Oh, okay, hold on. Ed is a good comment. Let me stop zooming in and I'll read it. Cincinnati 2 is pre-zip code area, which didn't go into effect until 1963. I didn't know that. That's really cool. And Cameron, I 100% agree. If I can't see it, it doesn't exist. Which is why I end up buying the same thing more than once. But this is kind of neat. I don't really understand this, though. It's the Pennsylvania Railroad Voluntary Relief Department, 1224K, 3.5 by 5.5. It says 1312 over here on the right. I don't know what that means, but it's from the Pennsylvania Railroad, and read carefully the book of regulations governing the relief department. And it talks all about what to do if you're sick and you need to return to work. But then it also talks about things like if you change your residence permanently, promptly notify the medical examiner. And then the last sentence says, keep this card in your pocket or where you can easily find it. Should it wear out or be lost, a new one can be obtained from the medical examiner or your employing officer if desired. Now, when I think of a medical examiner, I think of somebody that works for the city that does autopsies when people pass away. So I don't know, like, does the Pennsylvania Railroad have their own medical examiner back whenever this card existed? And I don't know about anybody else, but I sit behind a desk, and if I even kept this in my pocket sitting behind a desk, I think this would get destroyed very quickly, let alone working on the railroad back in the Pennsylvania Railroad days as well. So I don't know what year this is. If anybody knows what year this is, I'm kind of curious. I guess I could probably look it up. Yeah, right. Keep it with the mattress tags. I agree. It does look old. I assume it's. I mean, this can't be the date 1312 because the Pennsylvania Railroad wasn't around in 1912, or was it? I don't think it was. Was it? Wait. Now that I say that, I don't know. Andy Estep, I'm sure, knows all the history. I am sure he is looking into it right now. Hopefully he'll let us all know. This, though, oh, it was in... So wait, so is this maybe from 1912? That would be kind of cool if this was actually the date. I mean, I'm assuming it's not 2012. I'm assuming it's 1912 and not 1812. So that could be the date. That would be interesting. All right, so this is, I think, the most interesting item in the collection. It is the bylaws for the Keystone Lodge, number 42, from the Brotherhood of Railroad Trainmen. Oh, and I noticed it's got the same symbol down here at the bottom that was on these guys as well. has that same symbol down there. I might need to get out my Optivisor and see if I can read what that symbol actually is. But I didn't know. Yeah, best guess is 1912. Probably not 2012. I didn't know. Did anybody know that? Oh, is this the Union building? That makes more sense than what I was thinking. I was thinking, oh, symbol means printed in a Union shop. Oh, there you go. Dave Hammer says the Pennsylvania Railroad Company's Voluntary Relief Department was established on February 1st, 1886. Wow, so this might really be from 1912. This is over 100 years old, and I got it for less than $9, which probably means there's many, many, many of them. I'm going to move this over here now that I know how old it is. But what I thought was interesting about this is these are the bylaws, right? So you'd think there'd be like a bunch of bylaws. There really aren't. There are very few bylaws. You know, the lodge shall be known as the Keystone Lodge, number 42, Brotherhood of Railroad Trainmen, located at Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, and shall hold at least one regular meeting a month. Subordinate lodge dues, $1 per month, so $12 per year. The salaried officers shall be president, secretary, treasurer, collector. And if you are a salaried union member, you get $20 per month as the president, $25 per month as the secretary, or $75 as the treasurer collector. Now, let's see, does this have a year on it? I guess part of what I'm wondering is, oh, here you go. This says approved 1964. In 1964, would $20 per month for the president, I'm assuming that would be over and above their day job being working on the railroad. Each crew position had their own union. Ah. You pay $36 every paycheck? Yeah, it was a little cheaper back in these days. But the one that I find the most interesting, though, of all the bylaws in here, there's a bylaw that says, at the death of a member, no, not that one. When a member, no, not that one. Where is it? Oh, here you go. It shall be the duty of the president to render service to the deceased's family in the procuring of pallbearers, etc., at the time of funeral. So of all the union bylaws that they could have adopted in 1964, in this 5-page document, one of the most important bylaws is that your union brothers, because I'm assuming they were all men back in that day, so I'm sure they were all brothers, the union brothers were responsible for being pallbearers should you pass away. And I just thought that was interesting. Are these the guys that sat in dark rooms, smoked cigars, plotted the takeover of all things railroad? No, these were for the working crews. Those guys in the back room were managers. Yeah, so I think that this $20 and $25 a month, I think that was on, I'm going to guess, on top of what the person made. The other thing that I found interesting about this is that this lodge is located in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, based up here. It says Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. But the president at the time was in Cleveland, Ohio. So I don't know if maybe this was the first time this lodge was ever opened. So the Cleveland, Ohio lodge was helping this lodge open. I also love, though, like all the names are, you know, P.E. Garman, C.E. Shealy, W.D. Bittner. Like, how often do we use two initials when we call out our names? Like, you know, nobody says H.A., you know, in my last name. Like, it just doesn't happen. They were pallbearers, so you could have the union let you down one last time. Ooh, man. And that's coming from a guy who's currently on the railroad. Cleveland, Ohio was the office for most train unions. Huh, I didn't know that. Interesting. Our union press salary is 10% more than the highest paid operator, which is currently over $145,000. Yeah, so I'm in IATSE Local 1, which is the stagehands union, and we do have salaried positions where that is their entire job, is that salaried position. I guess I just don't know in 1964, like $20 per month sounds like it would be too low of a salary for that to be your only job. But I don't know. I mean, what were salaries in 1964? I haven't looked it up. John Train BFGR says, my wife's grandfather worked for Canadian National Railway until the 1960s. We have all kinds of neat documents like that. He had a lifetime pass for 2 to travel anywhere CNR went in Canada. That's pretty cool. Russ says, funny your topic includes naps. I did not get my afternoon nap today. Yeah. Yeah, well, it's hard to say though, right? Like $20 in 1964 is worth $202.63 today, but we all know that salaries have not kept up with inflation. So I don't know if this is just one example of it not keeping up with inflation, or I don't know. But yeah, I mean, an extra $200 a month, I guess, would be nice, but it wouldn't allow me to quit my job. There also seem to be 3 blank pages. I don't know why there are so many blank pages, except that back in the day when they used to print this stuff, they had to staple it in the center. So you had to have an even amount of pages before and after the center. So I'm guessing they needed these 3 pages just to make up the rest of the book. But I thought this one was really interesting. I hadn't seen anything like this before, the bylaw for the union lodges. The last one that came with this whole thing is the 1940 Pennsylvania Railroad safety rules for station employees. No centerfold. That's an extra locomotive a month. I know, right? Exactly. All right, so Dave says $75 in 1964 is worth $7.59. I mean, that's like a new loco a month. Yep. Only printed on one side of the paper. No, I don't think so. Is it? No. Wait a second. No, this is printed on both sides. So this is the center page here. And if I fold it over, it is printed on the other side. So that is good. Is that why these rule books are the size that they are? I did notice that most of them are all this size. I must say, though, I don't know that this is for modern pockets. Maybe pockets were a little bigger back in the day. But this is station employees, and I started looking through this guy a little bit as well. I don't know what this first page was, but this first page has a dotted line. Looks like it was cut out on the dotted line. Kind of interesting. Rules effective October 1st. Again, W.C. Higginbottom, J.C. White, J.M. Signs. I love that they use both initials. I think I'm going to start using my initials like this, make myself look a little more official. Oh, it could be a page that they had to sign. That could be an interesting reason for it. That's for sure. It was probably a form that you signed saying you agree and receive the rule book. There we go. Our rule book one time in our museum pocket until where it became a binder. Yeah, our current rule book would fit in the back of a small truck. I actually have up here on the shelf a 3-ring binder that one of these days, I haven't actually gone through it yet. I don't know why I bought this. Let's just be clear on that. This was one of those things that I saw and I said, this is so odd. So odd. How often is this going to come up? I needed to get it. I think I showed this before maybe, but this is the Yardex instruction manual for the Sioux Milwaukee system. Table of contents has, sign on and off, location map, all this kind of stuff. Just introduction. Yardex is a computer system used at yard offices to prepare, review, and transmit train departure, arrival, and interchange reports. I just love how this is printed as well. You can see that the way this text is printed. This is from 8/10/88, I guess, 1988. I'm guessing that's what it is. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't told William Sampson that I have this yet. I should probably let him know. I don't know, what am I gonna... I was kind of hoping there might be some pictures in it. I don't think there are any pictures, but it would have been really interesting to see the interface for what it is. But I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think somewhere they do probably show, I don't know what this means, but I'm sure this means something. Arrivals, departures. I don't know. I don't know why I got this. I have no idea why I got this. Use PF11 to return to the SLD screen. The information entered on the header screen is converted to a string command beginning 9 intetrin. For example, the line 9 intetrin 9794 UPD 0819 0900 JB. So that means that 9794 is the oncoming junction station manager. UP is the offgoing road. D is the interchange delivery. And then 819 is the month and day. 9 is the clock, and JB is the clerk's initials. I mean, it's almost like it makes sense. But yeah, I don't know why I have this. PF keys. I don't remember what a PF key is. That was before function keys, right? Were PF keys? Reading is easier with pictures. I completely agree. I lent somebody some Ian Rice books, and I loved that there were lots of pictures in it because that's pretty much all I read of the book. Yeah, I mean, yes, I bought it because I could, and because I definitely very much have a problem. It's just the way it is. But there's, eBay's one of those things that there's some really interesting railroad history books, and someone's job was removing the perforated sides on each page. Oof, I remember those days. I wonder, do we think that was dot matrix in 1988? Would that have been dot matrix, or would that have been somebody with a typewriter? No, that would be dot matrix. Yeah, 1988 would be dot matrix, I think. But it's not that weird, lined paper. PF equals program function. Things you forget. Yeah, dot matrix was the green and white striped paper, which is why I didn't think that is dot matrix, because that's more of almost a heavier regular paper. But I don't know how in 1988 would they have had printers? Late Night Joey says, I bought a bunch of playing cards from various railroads. They're in a box sitting there. In a box meaning in a blue bin under the layout, stored somewhere safe. But yeah, so I station rules. I think there's some funny things. Report promptly to immediate supervisor all injuries, no matter how trivial. 19, walking or standing on tracks or platforms. There's a section on elevators. There's a section on gases, acids, and explosives. I don't know. But it's just, I don't know. I don't, oh, I'm looking through this and I'm like, I'm on the wrong camera again. As in doing nothing. Yeah, exactly. Tractor feed paper. I'm not sure I know what that is. There were things called brothers, as I recall, similar to Work Perfect, but the size of a computer. Word Perfect. Yeah, I used to use Word Perfect as a kid. That was the database, the document program back then. Now I'm gonna have to go on eBay and look for playing cards. Yeah, not a cookbook. Paul from Chairline says, I'm only half awake. I keep hearing things about functions and definitely thought we were past the documents and on it some segment about programming DCC. Not yet. Oh, first printer was by Epson in 1968. I got to imagine that was a pretty big, a big printer at the time. Lotus Notes, yeah, remember those as well. All of the Lotus different software as well. Ed says, when I had my first office job after college in the mid-'80s, we had a dot matrix tractor feed paper that you tore the edges off. And that's what I remember were those dot matrix printers, but they were definitely all the green and white. And I don't recall really seeing any perforations. Is a Selectrix typewriter, is it one that you can like just put pages in and it will print them out? Or is it something, is it more of a manual typewriter kind of thing? So op sessions are coming up. I don't know how things are gonna go, but a lot of different things happening. One of the things that's happening is I am trying on my own layout. Why? It got so hot in here. Why hasn't, hold on. I had to turn on the air conditioning and, my friend from Amazon does it for me, so didn't want to wake everybody up. Joey says, I write functions every day. In fact, I'm going to start that ops program again soon. There we go. They were very fine perforations, huh? Oh, the ball one is the Selectrix? Yeah, with the thing. Manual typing, then copying. But they didn't have, did they have, I guess they did have copiers in 1988. That is definitely not a copier, though. That is definitely, like, you can feel the raised edge of the letters on that guy. But yeah. So what I'm trying to do for Friday, and at this point I'm failing miserably, but what I'm trying to do by Friday is I want to get the car float connected. You can see the car float's not actually attached to anything. I want to get the car float connected back up, and then I want to build some trains specific for the car float and see if I can get some of the car float operations going. I do have a car float, let's punch in, sorry. I do have a car float to south staging. So the way, oh, and I do have a float to Riverside Transfer Yard as well. So maybe I do have enough trains built, but the way I'm doing this, or the way I'm planning to do this, is that the car float is going to be an interchange. So in order for the car float to actually be an interchange, what's going to happen is from the local yard, which is over there, right? So oh, not that one. That's the wrong one. This camera? Let's go to this camera. No, okay. We'll stay here for now. So this yard that you can kind of see in this camera that I'm now blocking with stuff all over the layout, but this yard here is going to feed the car float. And the idea is going to be that various different road trains will come in, do things in the yard, things will move and things will happen, but then eventually there'll be a switcher that works this area that loads stuff on and off the car float. So the goal is that you'd push 8 cars onto the car float. The car float then becomes an interchange. The car float isn't going to physically move. I've operated on a couple of car floats, and if you try and move your car float, your trains are on wheels. So when you pick it up, the train cars go sliding all over the place. And that's what I thought I was going to do on my other layout. But I very quickly learned that that's not really a good way to do it. I'm yeah, I'm a little blue. 4:30 a.m. Ugh. I don't know how you and Anthony get up that earlier. That's too early. So my goal is the cars pull onto the car float, and then I need to make up a kind of a dummy train that is going to take the cars off of this car float into storage and take other cars from storage onto the car float, and then the switcher can grab the rest of those cars and go on with life. I don't know how well it's going to work, though. I know how I want it to work. I don't know if it's going to work, though. So what I want to do is get it set up so that we can do some tests this weekend and kind of see how it goes. Yeah, DB Tech, I did sell those passenger cars on eBay. Well, you're talking about the HO scale ones or the N scale ones? The N scale ones have not sold yet. The N scale ones are still sitting behind me. That auction's still going on eBay. The HO scale ones did sell a while ago, though. So those sold. I need to put some more stuff up on eBay, but that's a whole nother thing. So we've got this, so I've got routes built. So a couple things I need to do before, oh no, not this question. Well, I'll answer that in a second. Ops is trial and error. It takes time to get things right. Yeah, and that's why I want to use Friday session to figure that out as well. The N scale hasn't sold yet. The auction should still be going on for that. Sorry, John. Sorry. The Pensy N scale ones went for $33. Did the thing end? Did the whatchamacallit, I know, so some people complained that I did this last time, but now I'm curious because it says they sold. Where is it? My eBay. Oh yeah, 1 active, 3 sold. So let's see. So, yep. Oh, David A. Kelly for $33. Sold on Wednesday. So I guess it just sold. There you go. This one's not doing as well, though. A certain person in the chat, who will remain nameless, suggested I start all my bids at 99 cents. I think this is just way too popular. Not too popular. I think this is an item where there are just way too many of them listed. I still do have 14 hours. Maybe there'll be a bunch of last minute bids. The person that bid 99 cents has their own store that they sell Lionel trains. So I think the person that put the 99-cent bid on it is essentially buying it to resell it in their eBay store, which is fine. It gets it out of my place. But yeah, I'm kind of curious to see if there are any last minute bidders or if this is actually going to go for 99 cents, but we'll see. All right, so back to this. When I worked at Gunderson, I worked 10 p.m. to 6:30 a.m. Yeah, I've done some overnight stuff. So Andy says that he heard that the Riverside Transfer Hot Shot passenger train is going by the name Febreze. Andy, myself, and another gentleman were having a conversation not too long ago, and we were talking about trains on Long Island, and yeah, okay, any watchers? I don't know. Let's go back. 0 watchers, 4 views, 0 watchers, 1 bid. I'll post it up if somebody's interested in checking it out. eBay Mickey. I'm out of focus. Yeah, it happens. I should be in focus now, hopefully. Here it is if you want to check it out. But yeah, 0 watchers. I think you can put a reserve. Yeah, I could have done that too. Probably the noise it makes when it goes by. Oh, what a great name for a train. Yeah, the thought was maybe Febreze would provide a sponsorship, but so how do I name my trains? I think that's a good question. So the routes all have names, and then the trains all have names. That's just kind of the way JMRI does it. So the routes, what I've tried to do, and not very well at this point, is I tried to say, okay, like anything in the, that starts with a 1, so like 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 3, 1, 4 would be a local turn. This is for routes now, not trains. No, so you can, in JMRI, you can set a route and then build multiple trains using the same route. So let's say I have a route from my north staging yard to my Riverside transfer yard. I can set one route that is from there to there. And then I can build 5, 6, 7, 10, 50, 100 trains that take that same exact route every op session. Yeah, probably. If we all watch the item, maybe eBay's algorithm will push it. I don't know. Does eBay work like YouTube? I don't know if that works that way. So the route, right? So Andy came over. We did an op session. I think we ran one of these locals twice. So I just, I just had 2 different trains. So you set your routes first, right? So car float to Riverside Transfer Yard, Riverside Transfer Yard to storage, staging to north section, car float to south. Like I just set up all these routes which are essentially, how the train is gonna move, right? There might be a northern route, there might be a southern route and whatnot. Then after you build all the routes, then you build the trains. So you ask how I name the trains. Right now, I've named them very poorly. Right now, they're numbered 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, and 5. And there's a reason those are in a different order, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then I've got just sort of some named trains. Staging North, swap 1, swap 2, swap 3. Basically, you want to build... So start to end is how you name your routes. That is how I named my routes. I named my routes based on kind of where they started, where they ended. I have a route though that is the, this top one is called local turn north south north, and then this other route is local turn south north south. So I have a yard on kind of both ends of the layout, so I can really? Who? I didn't know that. So I've got, these routes are local turns, but they, they go in different directions. So I have each one of those as a route. So it's not really just start and end, because if I did start and end, this one would just say, yard to yard or whatever. But then the trains, I think, is where you would get into. I'm trying to think if I have an example here that would be good to show, and I don't think I do. Oh, here we go. So the trains then would get numbered on the timetables, right? So the train numbers are then up here, right? So a lot of these trains all take the same exact route, right? Like let's see, of course now I can't find two that match exactly, but it looks like the 418 and the 434 are essentially the same routes. Some of them are stopping at different stations, not stopping at other stations, but in essence though, these are all on the same tracks because they all go past the same sessions. Wigwag, did you just put a bid in? I think that might have been Wigwag. So the route is essentially this left side here, right? All of the towns and everything that your train is going to pass through. And then when you go and build your train, you can say that train number 12 goes to this route. And then at every stop along that route, you can then set your train up as to whether it is going to, whether it's going to stop or not. In the case of, this is New York Central passenger stuff, right? So a lot of these trains would stop at every station, but like if it's a freight train, you might not have work at every area. And in JMRI, you can set up your train. Wait, is it your route or your train? Now I'm forgetting. Let's see. I apologize. It's your route. So you would set up your route. This is where it gets confusing. So if you are confused, welcome to the club. So in the route is where you would set up the number of moves and the randomization, whether they're pickups or setouts, the max train length, right? So like one of your industries might have a shorter track length. Yes, so your moves are a combination of all of your pickups and setouts that you want possible. So I have an 8-car train. So if I want the potential for every single car to possibly be switched out at that location, I set it for set outs, you would have 8 moves, and then for pickups, you'd have 8 moves. So a total of 16, because my trains are all 8 cars. There you go, John. That'd be fun, make an O-scale reverse side transfer. Yeah, I think that's the problem, Don, is that there's just too many of those on eBay, which I was hoping by being the lowest and starting at 99 cents that somebody might bid it up to like $10. But yeah. So the number of moves 16, and then random I've had to read what random is multiple times, but random, I can never remember whether the high number means whatever or the low number, but it is the percent. It's the percent of cars that will move, but it randomizes the number. So like if you say 70, it will move between 70 and 100% of the cars, but it'll randomize it. So sometimes it'll move 100% of the cars, sometimes it'll move 85% of the cars, sometimes it'll only move 70% of the cars. So between the number of moves and the randomization, it will kind of determine, you know, that it'll kind of make all your trains not be the same as well. I am doing a terrible job explaining this. I should probably just go through it one day, is probably the easier thing to do, because that might help make it make a little more sense. But Operations Pro is deep. Tammy, before you buy any decals from me, check your mail in about 4 days, let's say, and let me know. I don't have enough cars and moves to mess with randomization yet. Yes, you do. Part of how or where the randomization works is that sometimes it won't move any cars. And I think that's interesting, because then it changes something, because you might be passing by an industry that every other time that train has gone by, you've had to swap out a boxcar, but this one time that you go by, you don't have to do any switching. And I think that's kind of a cool, I think that's kind of a cool little, a little thing that that JMRI allows for, is that, you know, it might be as well. So D-Row Daryl was streaming right before this show, and we were talking about some car channels that we watch. And knowing D-Row Daryl, I was sure I would have placed a bet and lost. I would have bet that D-Row Daryl watched a channel called Grind Hard Plumbing. It's one of those kind of wacky build channels where, like, one of the latest builds was he built a monster motorcycle. So like monster truck tires on a motorcycle. And they've made like a Barbie 4-wheel off-road car, like just all kinds of things. So I would have lost the bet if you told me that D-Row Daryl didn't watch Grind Hard Plumbing. I would have bet that he did. But anyway, go check out D-Row Daryl's live stream before this. We had a little bit of a conversation about cars, and Randall was running some trains and a bunch of other stuff going on as well. You know what I'm actually thinking about this JMRI thing? What might make more sense, and Dennis is somebody that's definitely interested in it, so Dennis, let me know. Don Iris would be great to have on this conversation as well. He doesn't really use the Ops Pro stuff, but I know he does a lot of neat things in JMRI. But maybe what we should do is, I have a Discord channel, Discord server, I guess it's called, and we do like live streams every once in a while. Not live streams, but just group hangouts. Maybe the thing to do would be to get together on the Discord server one night or one weekend or something like that, and we can just get into the weeds of some of this JMRI stuff. So what did Derek say? What did I miss? Dennis, read my last two comments. Derek, so towns have different numbers based on train directions. All right, so I'll show you. Let's go to this timetable. Let's pull this timetable out, and we can take a look at something. Let's see if I can find an example. Of course, this page doesn't have an example. So what I'm looking for is where one section is going north and one section is going south, which I don't think. All right, so I kind of missed it, but you can see up here, all of these are odd numbers. Maybe you can see, maybe you can't see. Let's see if we punch in. So this goes from Chicago. No, this goes from Buffalo up here to Chicago down at the bottom. So all of these train numbers are odd because that is the direction that odd trains run in from Buffalo traveling west to Chicago. They are odd. But if you go to, let's see. Yeah, I wish they don't have them on opposite pages like I was hoping. On a lot of other timetables on opposite pages, they'll have like, you know, Cincinnati to Indianapolis or Chicago to Indianapolis and Cincinnati, and then on the other page they would have Cincinnati to, you know, and go the other direction. Oh, here we go. Of course, now I finally find it. Let's see. Let's get it in here. Okay. So this is Cincinnati to Columbus to Cleveland, and then this is Cleveland to Columbus to Cincinnati. So all of these trains going in this direction are the even numbers, and then all of the trains on this side are going in the other direction, so they're odd. So they've actually turned these around. So in both cases, you read down, and yeah, basically the number will tell you the direction. Dennis, the towns have the same even number, but the train has a different odd number going back. Yep. Yeah, so in some cases, they'll just be like one number off. Like this says 421. This train is 424. It's not one off, but it's very likely that like the 421 turns around and becomes, let's say, the 424. Or something of that nature. Yeah, Randall, I wouldn't say I know a lot about it either. I operate on one layout that has the way it's set up. You can be on a northbound train heading south, which gets a little curious. Your furthest west location is 100. The next town or yard is 102. The train going back to 100 is train 101. And just looking at the number 101, you know it's westbound to eastbound. Yeah. Trains and people are odd. I get that part, but how do they relate to the location? They don't. There is some guy sitting in an office somewhere that has come up with these numbers. I don't, somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but my understanding is it's all made up and the points don't matter. At one point in time, somebody sat down somewhere and just made it up. And I find that's actually one of the things that I find hard about going from operating on other people's layouts to operating on your own layout. And I've been very fortunate that I've been able to travel and go and visit other people's layouts and get to operate and see how they do things. What I don't really see, I'm glad somebody got that reference. What a lot of people don't see though is the hours and hours and hours that went into making things up. Yeah, so the train numbers have been assigned since the advent of dispatching, but the numbers were made up by some supervisor way back in the day, right? I mean, it's not like if a train travels from Chicago to New York, that train isn't always train number 5, right? I mean, it could be train number 5, but it could be any number, just whatever that reference number is. So, I'm at the point now where I'm trying to take some of these things that I've seen on other operating layouts and see how they've done them and apply them to my own layout. Yeah, I don't think there was. Somebody, I don't think there was, but yeah. Zerudo asks, what's my favorite train? I've got a lot of GG1s, although my layout is a switching layout, so I've been leaning towards 4 axles, nothing really specific, but just getting into trains that have less axles. All right, Thomas says, usually the top trains were 1 and 2. When a new train is introduced, it gets a bigger number. Yeah. Whose line is it anyway? Any locations that would generate a train would be 100 and up from left to right. If you think that's bad, try going to a pickup location somewhere, and the trip lead out gives you a lead locomotive number, but when you get there, it's a totally different number leading. That's funny. That's funny. Oh, Don says, wait till I get here. I made a joke earlier about some of the traveling that I was going down to Florida. I am very fortunate. I feel very fortunate. I'm going to get to go see Don Iris's layout, hopefully get to operate on his layout, and hopefully peek underneath the benchwork a little bit and see how he has done some things. But, oh yeah, good point, Split Rock. Even airlines use something similar. The 20th Century Limited should be number 1 and 2, but it was 26 to 26, 26, 26. But I will operate. I just love learning. Next week, as I mentioned, I'm not going to be doing a stream. If by some chance I do one, it'll just be an informal pop-up. But I am going to the Twin Cities on Wednesday, and then I'll be in La Crosse, Wisconsin for River Rail. And then 2 weeks, I think it is after that, 2.5 weeks, I got to go down south for work. So I extended that trip slightly so that I could go visit Don Iris at the PWMRR and go see John 2618 at the Somerset and Raritan as well. So I got a lot of traveling coming up, but I plan on learning a lot. I'm going to try and take some videos. I'm not real good at taking videos when I go to op session. I find I really focus just on the op sessions and don't always try and film stuff, but I'll try and take some time and film stuff so that when I come back the following week, we have some things to talk about. I really appreciate everybody hanging out with me tonight. I hope everyone got in their nap. It looks like we're pretty even again on the poll with 60 people voting. So hopefully we have 60 likes, hopefully 60 thumbs up on the video to go along with the 60 votes in the poll. 55% say they would rather nap. 44% said they'd rather watch a live stream. On that note, from the city that never sleeps, farewell, model citizens.
It's all about humanity.